Joining me now, Republican Congressman Leonard Lance of New Jersey, member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which advanced the health care bill this afternoon. Congressman, you're a yes on this bill, I take it.
I was a yes in committee today, based upon the bill as it exists today. And we've just completed a 27-hour marathon committee hearing.
Why are you rushing so fast?
I don't think we're rushing. It came out of Energy and Commerce and out of Ways and Means. But now, Chris, it goes to the Budget Committee, and it has to go through the Budget Committee and then the Rules Committee. And then, of course, it's put on the floor, and whatever we do then goes to the Senate.
Right. How many hearings, open hearings with witness testimony and the like, have you had on this bill?
We've had a series of hearings over the last several years on the Affordable Care Act.
No, in this Congress, though. How many hearings in this Congress on this bill?
We have gone to the American people with Paul Ryan's Better Way, and we campaigned on the fact that we were going to improve the system.
No,
and
I totally
think that's
get that,
what we've done. Right.
No, I get that. But there's legislative language now. I'm just curious, how many hearings has your committee had on this bill?
We had a 27-hour marathon session, and I think all of the issues were vetted, and I was very proud of the committee in our bipartisan capacity.
The one that went through the night. But how many hearings with witnesses called to offer their expert testimony, whether that's doctors, people from the insurance industry, other folks, how many hearings has your committee had on this bill?
We've had a series of hearings over the last several years on the issue, and we campaigned, Chris, on this matter over the course of the election cycle.
In this Congress, I'm sorry, I don't want to belabor this, but in this Congress, is my understanding, in this Congress on this legislation, there have been 0 hearings, but for the 27-hour marathon markup that went through the night. Is that correct?
And also the marathon in the Ways and Means Committee, and also the fact that we have explained our position, and it was completely transparent over the course of the 27 hours, and I thought it was an excellent discussion on both the Republican and the Democratic side.
Congressman, you're talking about a fifth of the American economy. You're talking about maybe 15 million people losing health insurance, and you're saying that 27 hours going through the night is sufficient.
I think that we have to move forward. I suspect that when it gets to the Senate, there will be a discussion there. But I do think the American people, Chris, want us to reform Obamacare, and I am committed to doing that.
How many people in your district are on the exchanges?
I would say roughly 5,000 or so, Chris.
My understanding from Kaiser Family Foundation is it's as much as 4 times that. I think it's much more like 20,000. Have you talked to them about what would happen to them, particularly, say, a 60-year-old who makes $20,000 to $40,000 who could be looking at $7,000 to $9,000 more out of pocket?
Yes, I've had a series of town hall meetings, as I'm sure you are aware. At one town hall meeting, we had 1,400 people, and then at a second town hall meeting, we had 900 people. And so, yes, I've tried to discuss these matters with constituents in the district.
Yes, and this is genuinely commendable. We've lauded for you on it for this program. Many of your colleagues did not. Those town halls happened before the bill legislation was introduced. Am I correct?
Certainly, we had our principles, but yes, it was before. Yes, it was before the bill was introduced.
So, if I were in your district, say, and I were on the exchange and 60 years old and making $20,000 and saw that my out-of-pocket costs were going to go up by $7,000, I didn't know that when you had the town halls. Now that the bill actually exists, I do know that. Do you see why it might be important to have hearings or some exchange with constituents on that fact?
I certainly have a series of exchanges with constituents and will continue to do so. And I hope that we are improving the system, because the system needs improving. So many of my constituents have come into our offices in New Jersey indicating that it's unaffordable for them under their health care plans, and that their deductibles have increased dramatically, their co-pays have increased dramatically, and I think we can do a better job, and I think this is a step in the right direction.
So is that the benchmark for you? Because it seems to me that I hear that problem identified by members of Congress across the aisle, right? High deductibles, high co-pays, premiums going up, right? That's the main complaint. The question then
that is one of the complaints.
Is that the benchmark by which the solution should be judged? Which is to say, are you saying your constituent, we will bring those costs down, and can you look them in the eyes and promise that will happen?
I certainly believe that is the goal, and I certainly think we have to improve the system that exists now, because the system that exists now has really been so difficult for those who have been under health care coverage through their employment, and their deductibles have increased dramatically, their co-pays have increased dramatically, and I think we have to do a better job. I also think, Chris, that we should maintain portions of what occurred under Obamacare. Pre-existing conditions, for example, young people on their parents' policies into their 26, and I have argued internally that we should, at least to some extent, continue the Medicaid enhancement.
I want to ask you about that Medicaid enhancement. Final question for you. You have hospitals in your district, I imagine?
Yes, of course.
Okay. What will be the effect on those hospitals and about the folks who are dependent on Medicaid when the Medicaid expansion is phased out?
The Medicaid expansion is not being phased out. It's that the percentage that will be paid by the federal government will be at the regular Medicaid match.
Right, but they're going to cut off new enrollees, which is ultimately going to sort of set it on a glide path to zero.
States will have the ability to continue with new enrollees so long as the match will be at the regular match, not at the enhanced match.
Right.
I would prefer the enhanced match.
What is the effect going to be for the hospitals and for the poor folks in your district who depend on Medicaid?
I think that they will be able to continue to have Medicaid because I believe that New Jersey will continue the program. New Jersey is one of those states, of course, that expanded Medicaid, and I hope and expect that that will continue to be the case. And privately within my caucus, I have indicated that I think that there should be a continuation of Medicaid expansion, and that was contained in our bill today.
That's quite a roll of the dice. Congressman Leonard Lance, I appreciate it as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.